are leading the charge. I mean, you've been so committed just to the Phoenix Metro ecosystem success. You've been involved in Yes Phoenix and everything before and after. You told me one time, hey, if it has to do with supporting Arizona's economy and society through value creation and startups, I'm in. I don't care who it is. I want to help. And we're so privileged that you've continued to invest in Arizona State as being an actor in that economic development effort vis-a-vis startups and vis-a-vis technology innovation.
Yeah.
So, you introduced us to Tim Draper, who was a supporter of ASU for several years and supported our students in these various programs. So.
Yeah, and one of the things that I did that I because of that relationship, Tim Draper started a university, Draper University. It was for entrepreneurs, and as a way to kind of build a bridge, so to speak. I started sponsoring scholarships for ASU entrepreneurs and sent them over to Draper so they'd get the Silicon Valley experience. And the goal was, let's get them to kind of get that mindset that it kind of is unique over there. It's kind of crazy, but unique. But get them exposed to the real world of, venture capital and international entrepreneurs competing against each other, and then have them come home and launch their companies here. Mm-hmm. And so, I think that started to take root, and it was good. One of the things that stands out to me is the ability to, from that experience, have entrepreneurs share like the fact that the world is flat. And if you think that, I only have 8 competitors kind of doing the same thing I do, that really means you have 100. And they're in like 10 countries. And I guarantee you 9 of the 10, those people have a better work ethic than you do. And they're working longer, harder hours. So you better get to work. And I remember a few conversations with entrepreneurs, and they're like, we were at an event, and they're like, I feel like I got to go home right now and start working. But the reality is, like, we're shielded in some ways from, like, people are struggling harder than we are here in America. And because of that, they're going to fight tooth and nail to make their company successful. So that's who you're going to be competing against on the world stage. So you might as well get used to it now. Yeah. And so the idea was, let's get people exposed to that as early as possible.
Yeah,
so.
I love blurring the lines between what's happening in the ecosystem, the real world, not only in Phoenix and Arizona, but certainly beyond, and bringing that into academia, like you said earlier. It's like, how do we blur those lines or erase those lines? And I know President Crow and all of our leadership at ASU is on board with that philosophy in terms of the work required to create value and move it out of the lab and into the economy. And on that point, one of the other ventures that I know you've been intimately involved with over the last few years, and it started as a student competitor within our first iteration of ASU.io, is SwiftCode, which Peter Firth is our student founder, the C-level executive of that company, but it was backed by technology out of my colleague Zach Holman's lab. So Dr. Holman has now spun out, I think he's on his 3rd, probably he's got his 4th in his back pocket, but a new companies that are spinning out of his labs. Do you recall interactions you had with Peter?
That started in one of the other ways that we try to support startup entrepreneurs. This isn't perfect for everybody because they may not have the need, but some, like, we would provide legal work around getting them formed and getting everything, organized. So we put up a certain amount of money, which is really just free legal, but it's valuable to them. And so this was one case where we sponsored cash, but we also, for certain companies that had a need, we'd be willing to come alongside and help them get organized. So this was one case where we helped them get organized, and it turned into something really nice. And they've raised money, they're doing really well, and it's those are the kind of stories that really keep us coming back.